Okay. Let's wait for the participants to join. Okay, let's wait for one more minute. Okay. Hello, everybody. From myself from Vienna. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to our Win for Peace webinar on safeguards implementation in Cameroon. And we have 3 speakers today from West Africa, 2 from Cameroon, Miss Anli Mvufofoku and Miss Bubakri Mamunatu. And we have our moderator, Adjoa Amponfi from Ghana. And before I hand over to Adjoa, our moderator, so first of all, a warm welcome to you all. And secondly, I'm the leader of the Win for Peace group, which is a group of expertise within the Win Global community. And I would like to give you an overview of our activities and what we do. So, one moment, please. I'm now sharing my screen in slideshow, hopefully. So I think it doesn't work with a slideshow. Agostina? One moment,
I don't know, Eva, it's something in your
Yes, I know. Anyway, let me close this and minimize this. Let me do like this. Okay, so we are the Win for Peace, Win Global Groups of Expertise, and our group was founded at the beginning of 2023 because we thought that in order to achieve world peace, we need more women to get involved in the areas of nuclear non-proliferation, safeguards, export controls, and disarmament. So we conduct activities across these 4 subject areas, in particular focusing on education and training, in particular through webinars like this one. Once we have the opportunity, we also want to meet physically, but of course we have constraints with budgeting, etc. Currently, we have about 25 members from 4 continents, and membership is open to all Win Global members. So in case you are interested in any of these subject areas and you want to join, please contact me. You will see my email address at the bottom right. I'm the leader of this group, and I will then reply to you and tell you what you need to do in order to, if you want to join. If you are not yet a Win Global member, please also consider joining. Just Google Women in Nuclear Global, and you will find the instructions how to join. Here are our members in 2025 so far. As I said, we have about 25 members now. And we have 2 supporters. One is the Vienna Center for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation, the VCDNP, based in Vienna. And the other one is the UN Office for Disarmament Affairs, also located at Vienna, the UNODA. So we give educational webinars. We also do hybrid events. We have had 2 so far from the Vienna International Center, where I was in the Vienna International Center and people could connect from the whole world, and people also from the VIC came to the webinars. We also want to conduct focused workshops. And our events are announced on social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and via email in case you have once attended any of our webinars. It's open. Usually we open our events to everyone who is interested. And we also have a YouTube channel with the recording of our past events. So just in YouTube, you can Google Women in Nuclear Global Win for Peace, and you will find the recording of our webinars. Okay, we have conducted these events in 2023 and in 2024. So you can see we have about one event per month, or at least 10 events per year. And we are now at our third event for 2023. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is that's it from my side. Let me stop my sharing and let me hand over to our moderator, Miss Adjoa Amponfi. Adjoa, please take over, and maybe you want to introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I apologize that my camera isn't working properly. So I would go ahead and then talk. So my name is Adjoa Amponfi, and I work in the Safeguards Division of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. And I'm glad to be the moderator for today's webinar. So we have our topic today to be the safeguards implementation in Cameroon, SQP states with an AP. So a very short reason why we are having this webinar. We understand that safeguards implementation in Cameroon, which is a small quantitative protocol state, which is the SQP, with an additional protocol AP, is crucial for strengthening global nuclear non-proliferation efforts. And so this topic will highlight how even states with minimal nuclear materials play a key role in ensuring transparency and building international trust in the peaceful use of nuclear technology. We have joined us today our panelists who will be giving us more insights into the topic. We have Dr. Anili Foku, and then Mominatu Bubakari. They are all experts in the field from Cameroon. So I will give a little introduction, a brief introduction of their backgrounds, and then I will hand it over to the first speaker to take over. So Dr. Foku is a Cameroonian that studied physics at the University of Yaoundé, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in electronics physics and then continued with a master's degree in biophysics. She obtained 2 years IEA AFRA fellowship and left to Accra, Ghana to continue her education in the nuclear field, and completed with another master's degree in nuclear sciences and technology. And she returned to Cameroon to pursue and complete her PhD degree in physics, specializing in medical physics and radiation dosimetry from the University of Douala, where she studied under the IAEA PhD Sandwich Fellowship sponsored in Ghana. She's currently a regulator. I apologize for the noise in the background. He's currently a regulator and the head of the dosimetry department at the Cameroon Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority. And she's also a member of the ASHAN working.
Sorry,
and she's a core member of. Hello, can you hear me?
Now, yes. Can you just repeat what you started? She's also a member of you. That's the last thing I heard.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Yes. So she's a member of Win Global, Win Africa, and Win for Peace, and then a core member for the Win Cameroon chapter. And yes, she has won several awards, including an award from Win Global during the annual conference held in Mexico City for her research on breast cancer patients' dose optimization in a low and middle income country. She's also an author of more than 5 publications in radiation field published under the core international journals. And a brief overview for the background for Madam Bobokari. She's a research officer and regulator with the Literal Regional Branch of the Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority. She originates from the northern part of Cameroon, where girls are under scholarized and almost absent in the STEM field. She is currently in the final year of her PhD thesis in physics, where she's specializing in optics and applications. And she holds two master's degrees, one in atomic and then the other one in molecular physics, and then physics of matter and radiation. She's passionate about nuclear physics and especially its peaceful use. She joined Cameroon's National Radiation Protection Agency in 2017 as a researcher, and um, previously held roles as an assistant lecturer with the University of Mora. She has an extensive knowledge in the field through her participation with postgraduate education in radiation protection and safety of radiation sources, which was organized by the IAEA in Nigeria in 2019. And she's also a product of the IEA Safeguards Traineeship Program. She's also a product of the IEA Safeguards Traineeship Program in 2022. And she's currently doing activities that are related to radiation protection, safety, and sometimes security, which includes inspection, authorization, safety assessment, and training of workers under ionizing radiation. She's in charge of nuclear materials accounting for and control, and she trained to assist the IEA inspectors in their activities in Cameroon, and then she's in charge of the awareness raising on safeguards implementation, and she's also part of the coordination team for the implementation of Compass program in Cameroon. She's also a member of Win for Peace Experts Group, Win Cameroon chapter, and then Cameroon Radiological Protection Society and Physical Society. So without wasting much time, I would go on to leave the floor to our first speaker, who will give us more insight into the topic.
Hello? I hope I can be it.
We can hear you.
Yes, we
Thanks
can
so
hear you.
much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much. So I will present the first part of our webinar, which is entitled Safeguard Implementation in Cameroon, SQP States with Additional Protocol. So I will start, and this will be handled after by my colleague, Ms. Maimunatu. So in my presentations, we will start by first presenting the requirement, the regulatory instrument that Cameroon have implemented as regards safeguard activities. And for this, we will first present the international legal instruments, and after, we will present the national legal instrument related to safeguard activities in Cameroon. And after that, we will then make a briefing of the establishment and the function of our SRA, our regulatory authority. And we will conclude this presentation by presenting the challenges that we witness, goals and expectations. So before we start, we have to present you how Cameroon is. Cameroon is a country located in the Central Africa, just close to the Oceanic Atlantic Sea in the left side. And when you look at this board, this table presented how radiation sources are located in Cameroon. So when we look at the board, the red sign are showing us where radioactive sources are located, and the yellow X-ray. So we focus on location where there is radioactive source in red. They are most located in two main regions in Cameroon. The 90% of it in the littoral regions, where my colleague is located. You can see in the picture where she is. And then the 10% of all radioactive sources are located in the center regions up there where I am located, the get in red. So that's where how sources are located in Cameroon. So we will focus our attention in these two boards. When we look at the introduction of this work, you can't start it without saying something about nuclear materials. So what is a nuclear material? The IEA Safeguard Glossary 2022 clearly defined what is a nuclear material. So from these definitions, we can just tell you that a nuclear material is any material made of uranium or thorium and plutonium together. That's the definition, a broad definition of a nuclear material. So any source material or special fission material will contain these three elements. Now, as regards this, where can we find nuclear material in Cameroon? So we will go through all the radioactive sources that we have in Cameroon to come back to nuclear material in Cameroon. So this page presents the ionizing radiation facilities and activities handled in Cameroon. So from the table of the map of Cameroon you saw, we have about 500 radioactive sources in Cameroon. And among them, we have category 1, category 2, and category 3 and 4 radioactive sources. And as related to category 1 and category 2 sources, some of these radioactive material present in Cameroon on their usage contain some depleted uranium that is part of the small quantity materials that are present in Cameroon. So we have two, first the category 1 source is the cobalt-60 source, and also the category 2 source is the one that we found in the industrial radiography practices. So we are going to present you this equipment and also present you the quantity of where the nuclear material are located in this radioactive source. So here is the head of the radiotherapy machine of the Douala General Hospital, its radiotherapy center. This machine is made up of a cobalt-60 radioactive source with high energy radiation located in the head of the machine. And this model is the Alcyon 2 teletherapy machine that has not been functioning since 2017 because Cameroon started using practicing radiotherapy in 1989, but in 2017, the machine was out of use and replaced by another one. So this machine, which is been waiting for decommissioning, contain nuclear material in the head of the machine in the form of depleted uranium. And also from this, the first inspection of IAEA safeguards was conducted in these hospitals just in August 2022 for small quantity protocol material. So apart from that, we have in our left side a category 2 radioactive source. This is a gamma graph. That is the equipment used in industrial radiography for oil mining and also for the purpose of that practice. So this equipment has on its container, the container with this what we are seeing here, it has some depleted uranium that are used as shielding material for the protection of the radioactive source. So when practicing the accountability and the control of safeguard implementation in Cameroon, we then have to, we visited then all structure using all these radioactive, nuclear materials. That means all industrial radiography activities in Cameroon and structure and facilities are being inspected to account the number of quantity of nuclear material they have. Then we will then now come to the international laws and regulation that Cameroon is part as related to the field of safeguard. So the beginning of Cameroon's is that Cameroon became a member of the EIEA in 1963. So after this, in 1969, Cameroon decided to sign the Non-Proliferation Treaty that was ratified in January 8, 1969. So after this treaty, Cameroon also signed in December 17, 2004, the Comprehensive Safeguard Agreement. So after that, Cameroon also signed the Pelendaba Treaty, which was signed in September 28. So also to cover all the activities related to nuclear material in Cameroon, it was necessary to also sign the additional protocol. This protocol allows the country to control all the mining sectors that can have some small quantity of nuclear materials. So it was necessary to also sign the additional protocols. That was then enforced, that is enforced in Cameroon since September 29, 2016. But we will ask ourselves, why is it that since 1969 that Cameroon signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty, we are still having our first inspection in August 2024? It is because in 2019, in July 15, 2019, Cameroon then decided to join the small quantity protocols. And also it's modified because this protocol was, this instrument was modified. And so Cameroon is now following the modified small quantity protocols since 2029. Okay, so as far as we have speak about the international requirements, we are going to speak about the national regulations that are linked to the implementation of safeguard activity in Cameroon. So first of all, in November 19, 2024, the regulatory body who was called National Radiation Protection Agency have a change of denomination to Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority now. Why this change? Is because the first law that was developed in 1995 about radiation protection in Cameroon. And that also created the functioning of the National Radiation Protection Agency in 2022, does not contain any requirement about nuclear security, any requirement about safeguard activity, and a lack of information related to radiation protection. So since that time, it was necessary for Cameroon to develop a new law that contained all those requirements. So this new law was developed in 2019, July 19, 2019. And this law entitles law to lay down the general framework for radiological and nuclear safety, nuclear security, civil liability, and safeguard enforcement, then give chance to Cameroon to handle in the legal way the safeguard activities. So in the chapter 8 of this law, it says that in section 66, it states that the state and license holders shall cooperate fully with the IAEA for the application of safeguards, in particular, promptly communicating, giving information, and also to allow the regulatory body to access facilities and lofts under the safeguard agreement and under the additional protocol with responsibility state in section 67 for the regulatory body. So from this law, the ASGRAN then have as mission as regards safeguard activities is responsible first to establish, conserve, maintain the national system of accounting, controlling of nuclear material. ASGRAN is also responsible to support international safeguard inspection. That's Cameroon have to conduct with the help of the International Atomic Energy Agency's guidance. And also, ASGRAN have the responsibility to perform any other duty assigned by the state as related to safeguard activities. So one of these responsibilities is about organizing trainings, acquiring and disseminating information and documentation relating to nuclear safeguard, and also to develop scientific and technical cooperation with national and international bodies as related to safeguard activities. One also of the mission of this ASGRAN is to propose to the government draft instrument as regard safeguard implementations. We also have in that law, apart from this law, we also have other national requirements, like the law to lay down general weapons presented here. This law is entitled General Weapon and Ammunition Regulations in Cameroon that provide for the national system of accounting and control of nuclear material. In the section 13 of this law, it states that the state system of accounting, controlling of nuclear material shall be established and kept by the competent radiation protection body, that is ASGRAN. And also, the condition for accounting and controlling such nuclear material shall be laid down by regulations. So after that, it was necessary for Cameroon to also increase its activities as related to safeguard implementation by adding inside the decrease of application of the law 2019 on radiation protection and nuclear safeguard, it was necessary to then include in the decree of application of this law some safeguard requirements. So in the decree of applications of this law, we have in each chapter 3 that first, ASRAN need to perform authorization as regards safeguard activities. ASRAN need to perform accounting and control of nuclear materials, and also need to provide information as relates to this material to IEA. So we are finished with the presentation of our international and national requirements as regards safeguard activities. So how is it conducted in the ASRAN? How is ASRAN performing these activities? We will briefly speak about the working group that was created prior to the development and the ratification of the law 2019 on nuclear safeguard. So after that, it was necessary for the Director General of ASRAN to develop the working group under the decision of 11 September 2020, establishing, organizing, and operating a working group at the national agency. That aim was to monitor, to implement the additional protocols, and also to modify small quantity of nuclear material protocols. So this working group will be well presented by the second speaker. Now, during the working group activities that included compass activities with IEA, we came out with some challenges as related to the implementation of nuclear safeguard activities in Cameroon. So first of all, we need to conduct inspections. But in order to conduct those inspections, Cameroon has not yet acquired necessary equipment for a thorough safeguard inspection in all the facilities that were selected, and that inventory was conducted and locked. So it's one challenge that we face. The second challenge was the training of staff in safeguard inspections. So for the moment, we have only one staff, Ms. Maimunatu Bubakari, that have a training as a safeguard inspector in the regulatory body. Apart from her, no one else is trained. So we have the challenges of that we need trainings as regards these activities to conduct an effective thorough inspection and handling of these activities as related to safeguard in Cameroon. So we will now present our goals, the aim of the regulatory body as regard to this. First, one main goal is to help rationalize the management of quantity of nuclear material through the SQP, through the modified SQP, by setting up an effective department of safeguard in ASRAN. So as we are speaking now, we don't have any departments or units that has been developed to handle safeguard in Cameroon. So setting up a department of safeguard it is first main goal to attain to allow us expand our activities in the clear manners. Also, what our expectation from this, to achieve these goals, we need first the development of the state system of accounting and control of nuclear material through the IEA SSAC ISAC information management system that can help us to reach that goal. Second, we need the development of guidance and procedures that will help those lofts, because in the loft, if the lofts are able to have a clear procedure on how to gather information, this will help also the regulatory body to conduct thorough report of safeguard activities in Cameroon. So we need to develop guidance and procedure for the loft, and also for the regulatory body staff, the SRA staff, as regard nuclear material accounting and control. The third expectation is the training of not only regulatory body staff, but also the training of loft involved, the training of customs, because we think that we have made some inventory of nuclear materials in some loft, but it will also be necessary to train custom staff that are being on the entry and exit point of the country in maybe airports or also in the airports and also on the seaport areas that can allow us have a clear view on any material that is entering. So Cameroon has been controlling radioactive sources, but as regards safeguard nuclear materials specifically, we have not yet have a clear plan. So we need to improve those activities also as well by training all those people. Then at the last and very important one is the acquisition of nuclear material detection equipment for a better and thorough inspection of safeguard activities in Cameroon. So we conclude our presentation by showing you through these pictures. First of all, at the left side, I am the one conducting an inspection in a mining structure. In a structure that is operating offshore. So we were in one of the bases, the Lima bases in Cameroon, where we were expecting those activities as related to nuclear materials. But this one was focusing most on radioactive source as far as the equipment to detect nuclear material was not available. We also have in the second pictures, close to the first one in the left, the team of constituted by me and also my colleague, Ms. Maimunatu, that we will introduce the second part soon, during one inspection in a loft. And you can see in the right side of the birds up, this is me when we were traveling to the offshore direction during an inspections, and down, the pictures clearly show the first training that Cameroon has. You have our first training from the 3 to 7 February 2025. We were the first training on safeguards in Cameroon that was handled in Yaoundé City with the IEA expert, where you can see, and also were safeguards experts in Cameroon, she's called Miss Mangui Cecile, who is working close hand to hand with IEA as regards safeguard implementation in Cameroon as well, with Miss Maimunatu, and also the team of working group created. So with this, we will say merci, gracias, danke, share, merci. Thanks to everyone for your kind attentions.
Okay. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, very insightful. So I think we will move on to the next, our next speaker, and then afterwards we will take the Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Ajua, for the introduction. I am preparing to share my screen. Okay, please, is it okay?
Yes, it is.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see you.
Thank you. So, my name is Maimunatu Bouakari. I'm also working to the Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority, but at the regional office. So, I have to complete the presentation started by my colleague, Ms. Bufo Fokum Annie. After her presentation, we are asking ourselves, what are SG agreements? How Cameroon really fulfilled its obligation under this agreement? And also, are there some activities conducted by IAA in Cameroon? How is also the collaboration with the stakeholders? The objective of the presentation in general is to share Cameroon's experience in order to strengthen safeguard implementation in states with similar profile. My presentation is organized as follows. At the first part, you have to give an overview on IAA Nuclear Safeguard Agreement. And after that, continue with some details about safeguard implementation in Cameroon. And at the end, we have to give some recommendation to improve our SSAC and also for the state with similar profile. Let us start. What are IAA nuclear safeguard? IAA nuclear safeguard are a set of technical measures enabling the IAEA to verify that states are honoring their international legal obligation by using nuclear material and technology exclusively for peaceful purposes. So they are an international obligation, they are the agreements. What are the type of agreement we have? Everything starts with the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and we have some states which are party of NPT and others no. For states which are not party of NPT, they signed a item-specific safeguard agreement with the IAEA. So this agreement is based on the Information Secret 60C, and we have India, Pakistan, and Israel. Now, for states which are member of NPT, we divide this state also in two groups. We have non-nuclear weapon state and nuclear weapon state. Nuclear weapon state are states which manufacture or exploit a nuclear weapon before January 1967. So they signed the voluntary offer agreement with the IAEA. There are 5 states: United States, Russia, United Kingdom, France, and China. And for non-nuclear weapon states, there is the Comprehensive Safeguard Agreement, the CSA, based on Information Circular 153. And actually, we have, by December 2023, there are 181 states where CSA is in force. Now we have to focus on this last agreement, the CSA. As we say, CSA is based on the Information Circular 153, so the corrected version now. For this agreement, the agency has the objective to detect any diversion of declared nuclear material in declared facility or location outside facility. And also the agency will have to detect any undeclared production or processing of nuclear material in declared facility, and to detect any undeclared nuclear material or activities in the state as a whole. For the state, it has this obligation to cooperate with the IAEA, to establish a SSAC, and also to provide information to IAEA and provide access to IAEA inspector. The information submitted by the state or the state declaration have to be correct and complete. But now the IAEA has also difficulty about the completeness. So it introduced another tools which provide to the agency broader access to information and location related to the state nuclear fuel cycle. This tool is called additional protocol. It is concluded by the state on a voluntary basis, and it is also not a standalone agreement. So it is additional to one type of safeguard agreement. It is based on Information Circular 540, corrected one, and actually 142 states has AP in force. With AP, the agency can also conduct complementary access in order to ensure the absence of undeclared nuclear materials and activities, to resolve question or inconsistencies, and also to confirm the decommissioning status. So this tool provides the ability to the agency much greater assurance on the absence of undeclared nuclear material and activities in the state. Now, with CSA and also AP, which is concluded on the voluntary basis, for state with a CSA, which has little or no nuclear material or no nuclear material in facilities, they are encouraged to sign another protocol which calls small quantities protocols, with the objective to minimize the burden of safeguard activities in the state. So most of the procedures stay in abeyance. The difficulty faced by the agency is it cannot perform verification activities to confirm that the state meets eligibility criteria. While they implement the SQP, they realize this because the IA has a limited access to information and facilities, and so it's difficult to draw safeguard conclusion. What to do? The Board of Governors decided in 2005 to revise the SQP. So they decided to retain the SQP but made some modification. Like if a state has an existing or a planned nuclear facilities, the SQP is no longer used. And also, all new SQP are signed on the basis of the modified test. Also, for states with all SQP, they are called to amend their SQP with an exchange of letters. Now, what are the obligations for the state? With the old SQP, they have obligation to establish an SSAC and also to report information about import and export. So with the modified SQP, in addition to this T requirement, the state has also to submit the initial report, allow the IAEA inspection, and also notify the agency as soon as decision to construct or to authorize construction of a facility has been taken. Now, as we define safeguard agreement, we have to present what it is really done in Cameroon. As in the first part, Cameroon is a modified SQP state with an AP in force since 2016. And the initial declaration was sent on 2017 in March after 180 days. Also, the Cameroon has state regulatory authority, which is ASRAN, but before that, it was National Radiation Protection Agency since October 2002, and since November 2024, it is Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority. And actually, Cameroon is on the COMPASS program, and the ISAS mission was conducted in July 2024. There is no facility, there is no nuclear facilities in Cameroon. There are only laws, EU laws. And mostly we have depleted uranium as we can find in source container and also in the head of the teletherapy machines. Also, we have calibration sources. Now, how really it is done, the safeguard is implemented. The SRA, ASRAN, set up a working group with a mission to prepare and elaborate the annual report on nuclear materials, to update the additional protocol annual declaration, to prepare quarterly AP declaration, to collect and to analyze data submitted by laws, to conduct visit to collect data for AP and SQP, and to update the inventory of nuclear materials available on the national territory, and also to report information to the agency via the state declaration portal. In this working group, the members are from Institute of Research, university, industry, hospitals, Ministry of Mine, Custom, and also from SRA as well. In addition to the working group, to get information about nuclear material, SRA use also the licensing system. When a licensee asks for request for a authorization to import or export nuclear material, they have to give information about the associated equipment, so like the container. It can be the projector or a transport container. So if this equipment contains depleted uranium, they have to give the weight of the amount of this uranium, and also give information about the equipment, models, serial number, things like that, following. And we have also a memorandum of understanding with Custom. So Custom, which are at the border, have to during meeting of the working group, they have to present document data they took from the importation and exportation related to nuclear materials. So also during inspection process, the activities of our SRE is mostly related to safety and security. But for establishment which has depleted materials, like for industrial radiographer or where we can find the teletherapy machines, we conduct also the nuclear material accounting and control mission. So we have a form. We take it from the safeguard implementation. We take it from the IAEA Service Series 22. So we fill this form and we have information. It is used now to submit declaration or report to the IAEA. So now, when these information are collected from licensee, custom, inspection, everything, and also from open source, we try to see if there are something else. So there is a team, analysis team from the working group, which verify if everything is okay and prepare the report. So this report is sent and prepare the declaration of the report, and it is sent to the Director of Regulation and Control for the second verification. After that, everything is fine. He sent it to the general manager for the third verification. And our general manager is the safeguard point of contact. So he's the one who submits via SDP. He submits the report or declaration to IAEA via SDP. Okay. Information, reports, and declaration are submitted to IAEA. And as Cameroon is a modified SQP state, IAEA can also conduct inspection. Last year in August, we received IAEA for the first inspection. For this inspection, the SIRA organized a preparatory meeting with the licensees and also the regulator from the Littoral region. During this meeting, we present the safeguard agreement, the importance of the inspection, and also we discuss with the laws about their responsibilities and also the obligation of Cameroon to the IAEA. And also we arrange the IAEA access to law because some of the laws are located in the seaport area. Also, we contact the custom to prepare the arrival of the equipment for the inspector. So when they arrive, they will come with their equipment, so no need to pay taxes for that. The SRA designated 2 inspectors to assist the IA inspector, and on the field they did measurement, they check documentation and everything. They did their work and everything. At the end of the inspection, they go back and the inspection result was sent via the official channel later. Until now, Cameroon received 1 inspection and no complementary access. As we say, Cameroon is under Compass program. During my fellowship at IAEA, I work on the challenges in implementation of safeguard in SQP state with an illustration with the case of Cameroon. So one of our recommendation is to request IAEA assistance, and when I came back, we requested. Luckily, we have been, Cameroon was selected for the 2-year cycle to 2024-2025. So Compass program is an IAEA support to strengthen the effectiveness of the National Safeguard Authority and its SSAC. And this support can be on the 6 point, the legal and regulatory framework, nuclear material accounting, control and reporting, export and import control, the SSAC information management system, the national inspection, and also how to facilitate IAEA verification activities, and also the resources, recruitment, and training as the last one. Actually, Cameroon is under this program, and we received the ISAS mission in July. They assess like everything, how we work, and after that, there is a report where they identify gaps, and a work plan has been developed. And actually, we are implementing this action plan with IAEA and a support partner, which is France. After that, the last phase is the evaluation of how the program, how is the implementation is going, to track the progress. Okay. How about training? SRA staff and also stakeholders are trained from IAEA, AFCON, ESADA, or Department of Energy. So it can be online training course, also in presence. And we have also one who is trained during by IAEA from the Safeguard Traineeship Program, so the 10-month fellowship. And also during inspection, we are raising awareness to the licensees to explain them what is safeguard, what do we need as information about nuclear material accounting. And during our national training, like the one organized under Compass program, the stakeholders are invited, and also the SRA staff. As now we have an idea of how safeguard is implemented in Cameroon. So we have some recommendations also for us and also for states which are a similar profile. It is important to secure an adequate human, financial, and equipment resources for the SRA. It can be to develop training documentation, to be proactive in taking advantage of training opportunities from IAEA or other organizations, and also to acquire an appropriate equipment for detection and identification of nuclear materials. It is also important to establish a national general ledger for recording all import-export transactions. This can be helpful to prepare reports to IAEA. To work closely with the IAEA safeguard operation section, especially with the country officer. And also it is important to draft procedure and technical instructions. We need guidance to submit to the laws. Now they know what we are waiting from them. It also, we have to set up a good information management system. Establish a good communication with laws. Actually, we are asking them to designate a responsible person of nuclear material accounting and control. It is also a requirement from our regulation. And also the state can request the IAEA assistance as host through Compass program. So this is what we prepare for you about safeguard implementation in Cameroon, and thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Bobakari, for such a wonderful presentation. We will be moving on to the Q&A after we have received both presentations. So we will do it this way. If you have a question you would want to ask, you can leave your question either in the Q&A session, or you can request to speak. So whilst we wait for the question, a quick summary of what we have done with the webinar today. So a few points that I am taking away is that Cameroon has made significant strides in aligning with international safeguards instruments, being a party of the NPT, CSA, the Pelindaba Treaty, the additional protocol in 2016, and having amended their SQP in 2019. It's also have been able to achieve institutional progress in a very coherent manner. They have established Radiological Safety and Nuclear Security Authority, which has brought a robust national framework for safeguards implementation. They've also adhered to the legal mandate that is grounded in national legislation to emphasize cooperation with the IAEA and then comprehensive material accounting and protocol. Another point is also that the country currently has no nuclear facility, but then they have several locations outside facilities with nuclear materials, including depleted uranium in radiotherapy and industrial radiography equipment. We can also take away that and another point that I think is very interesting is that they had their first safeguards inspection in Cameroon somewhere in August 2024, which is, to me, is a historic milestone in the country's safeguards regime. Although they have challenges, as I have learned, particularly around the limited equipment that they have, insufficient training, lack of human resources, I think that Cameroon has done a great job with their ambitious goals and then their forward looking action plan and all, which I have learned in this webinar to include the development of a state system of accounting for and the control of nuclear materials, and then acquiring detection equipment. I've also gotten to understand that through the IEA's Compass initiative, Cameroon is benefiting from targeted capacity building, gap assessment, and support for its safeguards authority and stakeholders. So I think from this webinar, what I'm taking away is that at the end of the day, collaboration is key, and memorandums with customs, regulatory harmonizations, and then stakeholder trainings, which could include international platforms like the IAEA, AFCON, and ESADA, are very crucial for supporting implementation and then awareness around safeguards in Cameroon and essentially also for Africa as a continent. And so I think that Cameroon is very commendable for their strides in safeguards of nuclear materials. And I think they are making very impressive progress. And their experience will provide valuable lessons for other small quantity protocol states with additional protocols, which show institutional commitment, international collaborations, and capacity build. I think when we um, engage in these, we can transform safeguards implementation not only in Cameroon but also for the African continent. So we are grateful to our two speakers for giving us insight into how safeguards is implemented in Cameroon. So the question that we had in the Q&A session was about the slides. I think the slides will be shared with the participants after the webinar. Am I right, Ms. Eva?
Well, actually, we are recording this session and we have this YouTube channel, which I mentioned. Usually we don't share the slides per se, but if you have a specific request for any one of you wants to really have the slides, then I suggest you contact either me or the speaker and we can send you the slides. But usually you can then watch the whole recording on the YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you very much.
Allow me to say a few words as well, Ajwa. So, congratulations to the three of you. You did an outstanding job. You, Ajwa, in your moderation, and our two colleagues from Cameroon on explaining how safeguards work in a small quantities protocol country with an additional protocol. So I hope all those participants who are from similar countries were able to take away something meaningful for yourselves as well. So I know it was not easy to speak to all of us, but you all did a great job. So a big bravo for that. I'm really proud of you because my intention is to make my members also do some work and to talk to us. So you did an outstanding job. Thank you very much for that. Let me just ask a question or two in case we don't have any more questions from the audience. One question to Wu Foku. You know, when you have a radiotherapy machine and you don't have any equipment to measure the depleted uranium, you don't even know whether any depleted uranium is there. So how do you go about it? How do you determine the quantity of depleted uranium in order to report it to the IAEA? That's my first question. And my second question would be to Muna. You spoke about establishing a national general ledger. So my question is, how would you go about doing that? So let me hand over to our speakers. Mufofoku, you are first. How do you determine the quantity of depleted uranium if you don't have the equipment to do any measurements? And do you also weigh is there a way of weighing? Probably not if it's built into the machine. So just tell us how you go about it. Thank you. You need to unmute yourself, Annie. Annie. Okay, I think there are some issues with Mufofoku. So, Muna, would you like to say a few words about the general ledger? How you plan to go about establishing one? What would be your actions and how would that look like? What would that look like? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eva, for this question. About the establishment of the general ledger on import and export. So actually, it is an idea. So we are not a start, but I think it could be like an Excel sheet. So from authorization and also from the custom, so we can have information and follow the movement of, for example, like a projector, for example, we can follow it when it's entered the country, where it is used, and also when they send it, because sometimes they send it to recharge, to reload the sources, and also for maintenances, they send the projector. So for this equipment, we have to get information from the authorization and also from custom, and we fill our Excel sheet to follow it. And now when we have to send report, to prepare our declaration of our report, we can get information easily. So it is the idea that I have now. It's not yet implemented. So I don't know, maybe someone in the audience have and can give us more idea to use it.
Thank you, Muna. I know that is a challenge because those sources move up and down, and you have to be able to say where they are at what time. And of course, your licensees should also provide you with the information, but sometimes they forget or anyway, I know it's a challenge. So if anyone has any idea of how it is done elsewhere, I know when we worked in the UAE, we did not have a so-called general ledger, but we did follow up with the licensees and they had to inform us. And we had some rather high fines if they failed to report. So actually the reporting was quite good. Okay, I can, Ajwa, there is a question in the Q&A.
Yes.
Would you like to tackle it?
There's another question. I think we have a question. It says, thanks for such a nice presentation. I would like to know if there are still some gaps where you think you need to develop new safeguard protocols. And then what are the future plans for you to keep improving your national nuclear safety? Is it clear or do I have to take it again? So any of you can take up the answer.
Hello?
Yes, hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, please, can you take it again?
Okay, so it says that they want to know if there are still some gaps where you think you need to develop new safeguard protocols. And then also, what are the future plans for you to keep improving your national nuclear safety?
Okay, thank you so much. I will start answering the questions, and my colleague Maimunatu will take the lead after to complete surely. Yes. Actually, as presented during our webinar, as regard regulations, we need urgently to develop guidance procedures that will help us collaborate, communicate, and record clearly in an effective manner information with WALOFT and with other stakeholders involved in these safeguard activities in Cameroon. So this where we have some gaps, and we are looking for the help of IEA to help us develop it, or any other country that have been carrying out those activities fully, yeah, to help us develop this important procedures. And also, as we said, yeah, as we said, I think my colleague can add more to the questions. Please, Ms. Maimunatu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Annie. As you said, we are working on it, and with the Compass programs, we are developing guidance and procedure about like inspection, complementary access. We are working on it. And also we are looking for how to get an equipment. So because this is really a need. Like maybe an HM5, for example, how to get it. We are working on it, and with Compass, I think it can be okay. And also to improve our regulation, because now we have a comprehensive law. So we are also drafting a regulation, special regulation related to safeguard. We are also working on it. What are our future plans for you to keep improving your national healthcare safety? So we are working on our regulation to have a special regulation about safeguard. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Let me just add that this presentation is specifically focused on safeguards. So, you know, there are the 3 S's: safety, security, safeguards. We are now focusing on safeguards. So safety is another of the 3 S's, which is not tackled by this group. But of course, it's very important, and they are all interconnected. So we always have to think of all 3 S's. But of course, our focus now is on safeguards. And there's a lot to do in all 3 areas. So
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope your question has been answered, Teleria. Okay, so I have just I have just 3 questions here to add up, and then we will see if we get any more. Then probably we'll continue with that. Okay, so my first question: given Cameroon's recent experience with its first IEA safeguards inspection, I would like to know, out of curiosity, what were some surprising lessons that you learned? And there could be either challenges or unexpected successes that could benefit other small quantity protocol states preparing for inspections. So I don't know, any of you can take the first question and then I would go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Hello?
About
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, go ahead. Okay, hello?
Yes, we
Okay, I
can
hope
hear
you are.
you.
Thank you. Yes, I think safeguard activities are very great, and as far as it's part of a full regulatory body activities, because there was one of the main mission of a regulatory body, an SRA, is to conduct inspections. So we have been conducting inspection for more than 10 years. So what was really out and important and thoughtful about the first safeguards national training from IA that we received is that it helped us to see the difference between a normal inspection conducted for nuclear security purpose or conducted for radiation protection purpose, the difference between those inspections and safeguard inspections that are totally different. Yes. So we learn how to operate and safeguard inspection. To take one example, during the authorization process of radioactive materials, we have radioactive source, we have X-ray equipment, but the the nuclear material are also something that have to be considered apart. Before we were mixing all those practices. For example, when we were delivering authorization for an industrial radiography practice, we were delivering the authorization for the source, the radioactive source contained in the gamma graph, plus the container. So the source was for both equipment. But during the national training that we received with IEA, we realized that now we have to separate both authorizations. That means what? That means for the safeguard inspection and safeguard authorizations, we need to authorize only the container that contains the depleted uranium, only the container about, before delivering another authorization for the radioactive source. So just one practical example that we gain from this is like for safeguard activities, the authorization process is different. Also, for the safeguard activities, the way some definitions are made are different. In safeguard, maybe the definition of nuclear security, of nuclear material that we receive is not the same like the definition of nuclear material from the nuclear security state. So we discover a lot of important things. And also what was important is that during this national training course, we were able to see what are equipment required to be used during an safeguard inspections. Equipment that can help us detect nuclear material, something that we didn't know. So there are special equipment for that, special way of conducting inspection that we learned from that training. I think there are many more other things that I'm sure my colleague will complete. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Annie. To add this, during the inspection, we also realized how it's important getting equipment. So as she said, sorry, do you hear? Okay. So because there are some equipment which has no depleted uranium, but by like using documentation and also searching on internet, we think that this equipment has depleted uranium. When during the inspection, we realized that no, there is no depleted uranium. And we found also equipment with depleted uranium that were not accounting for. So the inspection allows us to discover how it's really important to get an equipment to detect nuclear materials. So, and also for authorization, because sometimes they use a transport container to import radioactive sources. So when we give authorization for the sources and the transport container, we forget the projector, for example. Also, when we check during the inspection, we realize that it is very important to separate this authorization, one for the equipment and one for the sources. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we just have a few minutes to go. Misiva, I hope we are on time.
Yes, Ajwa, I think we should come to an end because I think there's another webinar waiting in the queue,
Okay.
another global webinar. So unless there are any more questions, I would suggest we just wrap up. And
Okay.
I give you the floor, Ajwa, and then I would also like to say a few words at the end. Thank you.
Okay. So we would like to thank our speakers for today. Thank you so much for the insight you have given us into safeguards implementation in Cameroon. And we are grateful for the opportunity to learn more about what is happening. And we also thank our participants for joining in, for your time, and then for the questions that you brought in. I think, like Miss Eva said, the recording will be made available publicly for on the YouTube channel so that you can access it anytime you'd like to go back of the presentations in the webinar. So I'll give the floor back to Miss Eva to close us up.
Okay, so once again, a big thank you to the three of you. You did an outstanding job. I'm really proud of you. And I encourage all our other members to also volunteer to tell us more about how, in which of the areas of the Win for Peace you work, and to share your experiences. So now we know how Cameroon is doing it. And I'm sure that has been also interesting for our audience who may be working in similar countries. So a big thank you to my three ladies from West Africa, two from Cameroon, one from Ghana. And I thank to all our participants for your attendance. And I also say a big thank you to our two webmasters in Argentina for making this happen, and to the WinCom team for the announcements and all their usual support. So without any further ado, thank you very much, and I look forward to our next webinar in a month's time. You will hear about it. Thank you.